true story. Walking on Forbes to Stevenson back from the Steel City Poetry Slam with one of my poetic Speak Life Storyteller teammates. After having a healthy debate on the power of slam poetry versus reading poems regularly, a hypothesis is raised. That slam poetry happens when the poet uses their words, voice, and body to immerse the individual exposed into the narrative that the poem gives. Little did we know that this was something that we were actually about to live. We turn onto Stevenson Street as our teacher for this experience walks out of Mercy Hospital carless, cashless, phoneless, homeless. Not sure where to go or how to get there, he comes over to us and asks, "Hey kid, how do I get out of here?" Now I caught what it was that he said, but I didn't immediately hear. For I couldn't hear at first the sounds of his bare heart bleeding with every bloody heartbeat, but when our eyes meet, it immediately becomes clear. "I just lost my little brother, you know," he says, as he proceeds to explain the horrific experience that happened only a moment ago. No, I think to myself, I don't. I don't know, nor do I understand how a hospital with the name of Mercy could be unable to provide any at all for this man's little brother. I can't even fathom the feeling that he is dealing with, knowing that his brother was just hit with a truck, riding the very bike that he bought for him, leaving this man who later introduced himself as Chuck here alone to deal with the agony of his brother's death, now being only one out of the 5 family members left alive. He looked at me with eyes that cried tears like acid rain, and as the burning pain of these tears smears across his face, he asked again, "Kid, how do I get out of this place?" "Come on, Chuck, let's go." With my friend following closely behind, we climb up Stevenson Street, made a right towards the Duquesne University bridge that led to the Southside Steps. The whole way there, all I can hear is Chuck saying, "I'm hurting real bad right now. I'm hurting a lot." As we cross the bridge and stare down at the never-ending steps, I can think of nothing else to do but to hold this man I barely knew, and with every bit of my breath that I possess, pray. God, give us the serenity to accept the things we can't change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Afterwards, there was a temporary loss of words. I pull out $10, my friend pulls out 4, and we both put all the money that we have in this poor man's hands, unconsciously understanding that money wasn't going to do a damn thing for the burden of pain that Chuck had to bring back to the bridge that he slept under a night. Nope. Not a drug, a drink, or a fist fight could right how wrong this situation felt, how wrong this situation was. Because no one should have to deal with the type of pain that permeates to the very pit of this man's stomach without other people there to help overcome it, or at the very least carry it so that he wouldn't have to bury it into the treasure chest of his heart that once upon a time was filled with jewels, but now holds so much cruelty done to Chuck in the human condition that he barely knows how to listen and drink down the liquor of love that we are giving him. Because enough salt is rubbed into his open wounds through the acid rain tears that cry from his eyes down to his neck, that pouring a bunch of alcohol on those open wounds that consume his body seem to hurt more than he is willing to handle or cares to bear. Even if the ounce of getting those wounds, that through this liquor, those wounds can disinfect. So we give him the little bit of love that he can hold onto his locket of $10 and $4 that just barely fit into his slim pockets. Unable to pay me back with money, Chuck gets down in a push-up position, and with every ounce of his remaining strength does a set of 5 one-handed push-ups with each hand, and then stands up and says, "That's all I got." What Chuck gave us is worth a lot more than those push-ups. But that night, Chuck, you pushed us to become the very people that we were meant to be. People who, God willing, will give every ounce of strength that we have in our meek spirits to inspire change in this city and this country, but first in this community. First in this community so that every person in here can have people in their lives that come together in unity to support the inner beauty of their true identity. Chuck, you taught me personally that can only begin from within. And that it's possible to transcend the outer walls that we all put up in front of us to cover our real selves up. But just simply shoving those superficial shells aside and looking out the windows of one turning acid rain out of our veins into the sun showers for the spirit, mind, and heart, so that we can open our windows freely without fear of those tears tearing ourselves apart. Although our conversation ended, from one another we physically departed, our connection of the spirit has just started. But the slam poem that Chuck did us with his words, voiced and body on January 19, 2011, has forever rearranged and will continue to positively change my friend and me. So we just want to thank you, Chuck, for sharing your slam poetry.
My memory of Chuck's slam poetry happened toward the top of those Southside steps. It was there that Chuck said, "Hey kid, do you know what life is about when it's all taken away in a second? Second home, second bite for $9 grand, second closest person in my life dead. Hey kid, have you ever cried long nights wanting to jump right in front of moving cars before the headlights pass your way? That's me today. All of the many years that I have on this earth. Wife cried, brother died, got whacked on the north side. You see, there seemed to be no positive side to this obtuse triangle. This over-encumbering life in which my shapes are the bridge painted under, in which I sleep under. My pain and my worry, or whether I wake up in the morning. You kid, please, for the love of God, promise me that you will make a name for yourself. A name upon these nameless shelves filled with people who never mattered to me. The authority never cared. The authority dared to watch the blood spattered on the cold, dark pavement. You kid paved your way to college. I seem to continually pave a road of sorrow. No tomorrow, no matter what path I try to follow. No kid, there is something, there is someone, there is something that matters to me. It is you, kid, and you, kid, those people who care today, those who love, those who I think will make a difference in this world. And I thank God for the strength that I have. But I get mad because I warned my brother, and I came back and I warned my brother. And now all I have is another love to mourn over. And moreover, I have nothing but this $14 you gave me. But kid, I promise that's enough. But my epiphany is never anything special, nothing out of the ordinary, but that God still loves me, and the people in this world still think and care for me. So kid, promise me that you will make a name out of this place. And kid, you kept me from facing death tonight. We fight for freedom, we fight for love, we fight for change. Because you and I, kid, our dreams are the same. Love, peace, and happiness, no matter the loss, are always the same. Love, kid, do, kid, you, kid, will be awesome. And he said to me, yes, sir, I know it hurts, but I believe in you. And he meant it too. God showed up at 1 a.m. The pain, the struggle, and the hurt is not pretend in this life. It aches my inner being, in between being ready to jump in front of cars and to falling hard on the pavement, because it's often so much colder than the blood my brother lay in. Just spaying havoc reeks in a neighborhood where neighborhoods shooting each other and steal what they can because they would love to. But I am one man, and I stand and continue on, because life is not rest in hell, but like my brother, rest upon the shoulders of another higher than myself. My wealth is not built by the money in my pocket, but the heart and the love in my chest. And to this I pray, and for every person, for every homeless person, take that pain away. You deliver new life, peace, and harmony. Because these thoughts and visions keep harming me. It's a hard life, but we will make it tonight. Tonight our lives are changed. Tonight our lives are changed. Thank you for your poetry, Chuck. You have changed us. Thank you.
All right. Rhetorical arts and the lookout. Give it up for both of them, y'all.
Yeah.
Word up.
This is an open mic, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an open mic.
We